recording, so I'm just give me 2 minutes. I'm going live. Oh, recording, so I'm just give me 2 minutes. I'm going live. So we are in chapter 7. Did we finish all the articles in chapter 6?
We have last article to be discussed, Mataji.
From chapter 6.
Hmm. Okay, we'll do that because that's a big one, but it's an important one. So let's go to chapter 6 and the last title. I know it's hard for people to read, so I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to go through the presentation. We'll go through the Veda base article, and so while taking up some activities, we can learn more. I'm not sharing the screen. Okay. So this is chapter 7, chapter 6, the tiny world of modern science. So this is a morning walk in in April 1973. Can we all mute? It's nice to hear the chirping sound. But yeah, so it's in the April of 1973 at Venice Beach. So he's discussing modern science and with his disciples. Okay, so his main thing is life does not come from matter, and matter is generated from life. This is not theory, it is a fact. Because you can imagine 60s, so that's when science was like totally against anything god means that's irrational. Even now that's what people think, but more it was at that point of time. So why Prabhupada is saying this the matter changes in 6 phases: birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, dwindling, and death. Anybody remembers which chapter this comes in Bhagavad Gita? Not a shloka, but it is discussed as in the purport.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Aparna Kaja?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, good to have you here, Mother.
Once in a while I try.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, but good. Thank you. Yeah, so he's saying life appears to be developing and decaying, but actually it is simply passing through each of these 6 phases until the material body can no longer be maintained. Then the old body dies and the soul enters a new body. When our clothing is old and worn, we change it. Similarly, one day our bodies become old and useless and we pass on to a new body. Sometimes even young and useless also. We have experience of so many people passing young, but the body can no longer hold the soul. And I was talking to my friend today. She was telling that grandmother is 90 years old and they knew that she's going to pass away. And so they didn't, it was in the village side, so they didn't want her to pass away in the house. So they put a special tent outside the home and then put the bedding in there for the last few days, even before she passed away. So that is our that's the value of us. The more we become old, the more we would be by default removed. When they're 40, we say, oh, okay, but 20, oh, that's too less. I mean, he didn't even start his life. When it's 40, oh, he's in the middle of the life. When 50, it is still too early. 60, okay, he has seen a bit. 70, okay, he has seen his life. When somebody passes away at 80, oh, he has lived a full life. And beyond, if we exist, then it's saying, why not? I mean, it is overtime, right? So that's what Krishna is telling, that that is the value of this body, and the body is perishable and subject to destruction. But the soul is very atomic and very small, but it's the source of the strength. So he's saying that if scientists say that matter is the cause of origin of life, then let them bring just one dead man back to life by injecting him with chemicals, but this they cannot do. So Dr. Singh, the disciple of Prabhupada, he's no more now. He did a lot of services because he was himself a PhD scholar, research scientist. So since scientists cannot see the super soul, they say its existence is very doubtful. So he's saying it's too small to see. How can they see? So Prabhupada is giving this example that if you just inject one grain of deadly poison into someone, he immediately dies. No one can see the poison or how it acts, but the poison is acting nevertheless. In the same way, Vedas say that because a minute particle called the soul is within the whole body is working nicely. If I pinch myself, I immediately feel it because I'm conscious all over my skin. But as soon as the soul is absent, which is a case when my body dies, you can say take the same skin and cut it and chop it, and no one will protest. So is this not detecting spirit? I was also thinking that, especially when we fast on, Ekadasi or during Janmashtami like that, some people fast Nirjal. And then at the end of the fasting, when we start eating, as soon as the food touches the tongue and one or two mouths goes inside, it wouldn't even have gone through the food pipe, but we feel energetic. So that's why, according to scientists, the food goes, digests, the waste is, it takes 3 hours for digestion. Then the the nutrients are absorbed. Then I should feel strength after 3 hours of all this process. But as soon as we drink water, the tongue touches the food. There is a sense of, oh my God, satisfaction, right? So yeah, this is what. The wonder of the Lord creating this body and the soul. So he's continuing to do this, that how even a dead plant cannot come back to life, and the living force is the same. And Prabhupada is giving another example here. Suppose I'm living in an apartment and then I leave it, I'm gone. But many other living entities remain there, ants, spiders, and so forth. It is not true that simply because I have left the apartment, it can no longer accommodate life. Other living entities are still living there. It is simply that I, an individual living being, have left. And the chemicals in the tree are like the apartment. They are simply the environment for the individual living force, the soul, to act through. That the scientists will never be able to produce life in the chemical laboratory. So where have the chemicals come from? And he's giving this example. An orange tree contains many oranges, and each orange contains chemicals, citric acid and others. So where have these chemicals come from? Obviously, they have come from the life within the tree. The scientists are missing the origin of the chemicals. They have started their investigation from the chemicals, but they cannot identify the origin of the chemicals. Chemicals come from supreme life, God. And just as the living body of a man produces many chemicals, the supreme life is producing all the chemicals found in the atmosphere, in the human, in water, in humans, in animals, and in the earth. So he's saying that he's arguing that scientists would reply that they cannot believe in the mystic power, then they must explain the origin of chemicals. How? Um, Yeah, so he's also explaining how God and the human being are the same. We are part and parcel of God. So we have mystic potency, but small. But God has more. That's why man can make AI, Chat GPT, all this, because we are also minute creators, but we are limited. Uh, Yeah, so there's further arguments about how, if the scientists say that there is no life, then they should create life. Then they say that it is on the future, then it's like he's saying that I'll pay you the entire sum with the post-dated check. In some a generation in the future, we will say that uh, we can bring the dead man back to life. Yeah. So this is a very interesting thing, Dr. Frog's philosophy. It sounds very simplistic story, but eventually this is what all of us are trying to do. There was once a frog who had lived all his life in a well. One day a friend visited him and informed him of the existence of the Atlantic Ocean. So what is this Atlantic Ocean? Asked the frog in the well. It's a vast body of water, his friend replied. How vast? Is it double the size of this well? No, no, much longer. His friend replied, how much larger? 10 times the size. In this way, the frog went on calculating. But what was the possibility of his ever understanding the depths and far reaches of the great ocean? So we have some limited experience and we try to extend it and extrapolate and come to a conclusion about God. But it is exactly like the frog trying to measure the Atlantic Ocean in terms of the size of his well, which is very, hundreds and thousands and millions of wells, and the water cannot comprehend this. So that's why he's saying this. The frog was always thinking in terms relative to his well. He had no power to think otherwise. Similarly, the scientists are estimating the absolute truth, the cause of all causes, with their imperfect senses and minds, and thus they are bound to be bewildered. Yeah. So there's an inductive process. Science is an inductive process. So if science have to determine that man is mortal, then he has to study and find out if every single person is mortal. Okay, so uh, there may be some men who are immortal. I have not yet seen the man. Therefore, how can I accept that man is mortal? This is called the inductive process. But that way, our research never ends because we always think that there is somebody who's not dying and I have not seen that. But deductive process is that your teacher, your father, or your guru says this man is mortal and you accept it. So that's a descending process. That's the process that, from the acharyas, from Krishna, coming down in the disciplic succession, we are getting the knowledge. Rather than we try to find out on their own, because we trying to find out on their own is like frog calculating the Atlantic Ocean in terms of its well. Right. So that's why he's saying God cannot be known by the inductive process. And so he's called Adokshaja. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm skipping some so that, we can use that in the activities. Uh, So his point is, where is the gas coming from? Where is the Vayu coming from? Where is sun coming from? All this. So there's no, way of finding out that when did the sun come about? When did the moon start rising? When did the air come, or where did the air come from? Right? Yeah. So he's saying we can answer. We have the knowledge that gas comes from Kam or ether, and ether comes from mind. Mind comes from intelligence. Intelligence comes from superior Krishna, superior energy, the spirit soul. Um, so his main thing is how. So Prabhupada's example is this: soul is creative, not material elements. If you place a bottle of hydrogen near a bottle of oxygen, will they automatically combine without your help? No, they must be mixed. So there is a superior energy. The living entity is required. Hydrogen and oxygen are inferior energy. So where in which chapter he talks about superior energy and inferior energy?
Chapter 7, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, chapter 7. Right. So this is a very nice analogy. See, inferior energy has no power unless superior energy is involved. This sea, indicating the Pacific Ocean, is calm and quiet. But when superior force, air pushes it, high waves are created. The sea has no power without the superior force. Similarly, there is another force superior to the air, and another until we arrive at Krishna, the most superior force. This is real research. Suppose a railroad train is just starting to move, the engine pushes one car, which pushes another, and so on until the entire train is moving, and the whole motion originates with the engineer, a living entity. Similarly, in the cosmic creation, Krishna gives the first push, and then by means of many successive pushes, the entire cosmic manifestation comes into being. So this is what he says in Maya Adyakshena Prakriti Suyatesa Characharam. This material nature is working under my nature, direction of son of Kunti, and is producing all moving and unmoving beings. A little later, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiyaha Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed giving father. So, Krishna, I mean, it looks like, Prabhupada is very strong against scientists. But recently I attended a class where he said that there are some scientists who agree that the finding out the cause of all causes is beyond the scope of science. He's not against them. But in the, we are all come up in school, colleges, and we have all been learning that if I am scientific, then I cannot be God fearing. These two things are opposite to each other. Or I will be, silently, secretively God fearing because I still want my things from God, but outwardly I will show myself as secular and, not much bothered. So that's because of our, claim that that's what that Prabhu was explaining. Science and scientism are two things. Science is how they're trying to explain things. But there are some people who say scientism means science can only explain the truth. And any truth that cannot be explained by science is myth. That's so the perfect knowledge, the supreme knower. For that knowledge, we should take uh, the value from the deductive knowledge, like which is coming from the higher sources of knowledge. Uh, So see this. They say that law of gravity works under certain conditions, but who has made these conditions? When Krishna appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he threw stones on the water and the stones floated. The law of gravity did not work in that case. Therefore, the law of gravity works only under the direction of the Supreme Lord. The law in itself is not final. A king may give a law, but he can change that law immediately. The ultimate lawgiver is Krishna, and a law will only work by his will. So we never, I mean, we have read Ramayana so many times, we have heard, that stones floated, stones floated. But actually, because to help Lord Ramachandra, law of gravity did not work there. I mean, I like this thing. So the stones floated in water. And so God is the ultimate lawmaker. By his will, the law will work. If he is by his will, the law will not work. Like that. Mm. So he's nicely, I mean, they're connecting it from one point to another point to prove that how scientist is saying that God it cannot be explained. But Prabhupada is defeating them in explaining that how God and consciousness is the main place from where everything has sprung about. Um, so see, there is something, see, very nice. Like when we say that Brahma's lifetime, people don't understand this. So he's saying this God is great, but we are thinking of God's greatness in our own terms, in terms of relative greatness. Some insects are born at night, they grow at night, have their children at night, and die at night. They never see the sun. Therefore, they conclude that there is no such thing as day. If you ask the insect about the morning, he would say there cannot be any morning. Similarly, when people hear of Brahma's long duration of life from the scriptures, they do not believe it. They say, how can anyone live for such a long time? Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaham. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. So Brahma lives for millions and trillions of years. We cannot believe this, although evidence is given in the scriptures. In other words, we conclude that Krishna talks nonsensically, while we speak as authorities. Even great scholars say that these scriptural statements are all mental speculations. Although these men are nothing but rascals, they pass for reputable scholars. They place themselves above God's position by attempting to refute or deny the statements of God in the revealed scriptures. In this way, so many fools in the guise of scholars, scientists, and philosophers are misguiding the whole world. So we are like insect. Our limited life is only 100 maximum. 100 years in Kali Yuga. 90 years only people want to get rid of us. 80 years is too much. 70 is decent, like that. So how can we understand? What is the scope of us to understand if we want to understand by our own brains about Brahma's long life? So it's better to accept from the scriptures, right? Yeah. So again, Darwin's theory, how original species came into existence, he must explain. Prabhupada is saying. Scientists claim that the earth was created by biological chemistry, and they refuse to teach that God created the earth because they think everyone will consider them fools. If their biology and chemistry are so advanced, why don't they create something? If God didn't create, and if it happened for thousands and billions of years, chemicals have produced life, then why we are not able to produce it? So that is his point. Uh, Everything started from matter. In other words, living matter comes from non-living matter. From where is the living matter coming now? He's asking now. Did it come from non-living matter in the past and not at the present? How is the ant coming? It is materializing from dirt. Even an ant does not come from inert matter. What proof do they have of such a theory? So, Yeah. So they say that, that's why Indian mythology, very clearly, Ramayana is mythology because stones won't float in water. Millions of years ago, people were not so, advanced to have Ravan was not advanced enough to have a flying airplane. So all these things, they say it is mythology. It is like Harry Potter. Harry Potter is a work of imagination, so Ramayana is also a work of imagination. But that's not truth. That's why the basic thing is our faith in the scriptures. If that is not established, then whatever we read from the scriptures have no value. We will not have a standing clearly. So according to this Bhagavatam, according to Darwin, the first created being, created living entity came from chemicals, and that too was a unicellular, and then bicellular, and then like that, amphibians, then first aquatics, then amphibians, and land animals like that. But if we see the Bhagavatam process of creation, the first created being is the most intelligent. That is Brahma. He's so intelligent that he everything else sub creation he is doing, and his life is so fantastic. So that's why he's saying this. In, so he's saying this: the contemporary civilization is so proud of its independence, but actually it is so dependent on oil. If the oil supply is stopped, then what else will these rascal scientists do? They cannot do anything. We can let them try to manufacture oil in their test tubes, enough oil to run their civilization on. At present, there is scarcity of water in India. This was in 1973. What can the scientists do about it? They may know the chemical composition of water, but they cannot produce it when there is a great scarcity. They require the help of clouds, and all that is God's manipulation. Yeah. Now they will be so he's telling there may be life in Mars. They may believe or not believe. What is the gain? What do we know is that life is there. What do we know is that life is there. They know this, yet they are engaged in fighting and killing life. Here is life, here is a human being. Life is here undoubtedly, but they're busy trying to destroy it with their big bombs. They're very curious to know that if there is life in other planets. So we see like how by conversation and so many analogies, he's explaining things. Of course, he's calling rascal. That doesn't mean that he's condescending them, but when they are adamant, without even when the philosophy is provided analytically, logically, when they refuse to accept it, that adamancy, Krishna himself is calling us moodas, right? Namam dushkrutino moodaha. Prapadyante naradamaha and avajananti mam muda. So one who defies. So, that's why some people will say that, oh, Prabhupada is so much a sadhu, how he can use these words. Sadhu means one who cuts through illusion, not that one who pamper us, our illusion. Oh, whatever you're doing is good. Give me some money and I'm happy. No. So he is brave enough to cut through the illusion. And for example, there's an Amazon package comes. If we don't have a knife or a thing, how will we cut through that? So a sharp object is required to cut the covering of, ignorance. Okay, so we are going to discuss this. What's the time? It's already 8:40. Okay, and discuss this also. This is a small one. 1965, September 18, Prabhupada came to America in Jaladuta and he wrote a moving poem. It's a very beautiful poem. Okay, can we take turns and read the translations? If Have you all read this before?
No, no, Mataji.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then
No, Mataji.
we can take turns and read. Maybe somebody can read 1, 2, and 3.
Sure,
I
Mataji.
can start. Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Deepa Mataji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. Number 2, but I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? Paragraph 3. Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion. Absorbed in material life, they think themselves very happy and satisfied. Therefore, they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Can
Mataji.
someone else?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
With 4.
Yeah.
But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic. How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? Oh Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message. All living entities have come under the control of the illusory energy by your will. And therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion.
Yeah, Reshma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text number 7. I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. Text 9. The words of the Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation, and if a sober person repeatedly receives them with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. Text 9. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as the irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effect of nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service of the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. Hare Krishna.
This is actually the translation of 1.2.17 to 21. So he's included that verses in his poem. Yeah, Suman Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Text 19.
Text
Mataji,
10.
it's not visible clearly.
Or is it? Text 10. He'll become liberated. Is
Wait a
everyone
minute.
else able to see my screen? Is it clear to everyone else?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Yes, Mataji, now I can read.
Yes.
He will be, text 10. He will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear. Text 11. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore, I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Text 12. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. Text 13.
Thank you.
O
Thank you,
spiritual.
Mataji. We'll
Hare
take
Krishna.
turns. Yeah. Abba Mataji.
Yes, 13th. Oh,
Sorry.
Mataji, can you? Yes. Oh, spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So, if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. Text 14. Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel and gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. Text 15. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. O Lord, make me dance as you like. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the last. Can someone complete?
Okay, if you want, I can complete.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have no text 16. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board the ship Jaladuta Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, and this is of 18 September 1965.
Yeah. Such a beautiful, heartrending poem. Okay. So we are going to watch this poem, but I need to stop the YouTube live for that. Before that, what we will do, we will, and I don't have much time to go into breakout rooms, but please go through this. We will take 3 minutes, okay? And go through the last topic of what we read now, last paragraph of um, last
Article, Mataji.
article of chapter 6. Can you post the okay, you can all open in your things because I'll not be able to screen share. I'll post this in the group, in the chat. So please go
Mother,
through
don't
this
put me in
and
any
say
group,
one
please.
point. Sorry?
Please don't post me in any group because I have joined for the first time, so I'm not able to understand what the things are going on.
Yeah, we are not going to do groups now because it's already
Okay.
late. I also have to go. So what I'm saying is what we discussed now, the last thing that we, last article of this chapter 6 that we discussed, let's take 3 minutes and each
Okay.
one say one point. Is that possible? But we say one point that doesn't is unique. If somebody else has told your point, then you find out another one. It can be his way he explains things, one analogy, or answer for one question from this article that we went through. So can we do that?
Yes,
3
Mataji, you can
minutes?
try.
3
Yeah.
minutes, yeah. So please open this in your own devices through the chat, and then you can scroll and get one point that you'd like to share. Anybody ready?
I'll try, Mataji.
Okay, Titi Mataji, hope your brother is better.
Not really, Mataji.
Hmm.
So, just taking the first paragraph. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying the difference between a pious man and a criminal man. And they're comparing the criminal man with what is dirty. And now the dirt is not about the dust, it's more about the disease that comes from desires, right? The desire of having more from what we have, we are never satisfied. So we always keep looking for more and more, whether it's money, whether it's happiness, whether it is anything, right? So today, that's what we are sort of running behind something, and so that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying to the general, that the simplest process of purification is to chant the holy name and to sing his name, so that we can stop the crime. So we have to absorb our body just like the sponge absorbs the water. We have to absorb all the good things and of kirtan and the things that these scriptures are teaching us, so that when they are filled with so much of scriptures, then the dirt will slowly get away. This is just an analogy, but I'm hoping it will help me to be more clear in my thoughts and vision. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So you took some point from the first article of the 6th chapter. That's good. So anybody else? Currently what we went through is the last article of the chapter 6. So if you can get some points from that, that would be good too.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Aparna Mataji.
Here, Prabhupada Swami explains elaborately, taking several analogies up in the whole articles, saying that we humans or scientists, which is the same, should see soul and spirituality, like, soul and spiritual power in a completely different way than taking it as a simple thing, like, that we are the soul or we are the creators and we can also create life. Instead of thinking like that, if you compare it with, like, it's some supernatural energy is there in every single thing, every single matter. Then we will be more understanding the power of creation or supernatural power. I think
Wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I go next?
Yes, Mataji.
So in this article, Srila Prabhupada discusses how life comes from life and not matter. Like the modern science, they falsely claim that life originates from matter. So it's the other way around. Matter comes from life. It's not reverse. So he also discusses that like scientists are not even able to produce a blade of grass or revive dead grass through chemicals. So that is the point that is being discussed in this article.
Wonderful, Mataji. So life comes from life and not matter. Yeah. Thank you. Kanika Mataji.
Madhaji, I like the part where Srila Prabhupada talks about Achintya Shakti, where he's just talking about living force being mystical, right? That um, scientists and all cannot say how chemicals are being produced or how like the fingernail is growing out of my finger. It's like the power that it is an inconceivable potency. So if it can exist in people like you and I, then it is unfathomable to see how much God can possess it. So I like that part where he's specifically talking about life force.
That's very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else? Waiting for Reshma Mataji. Shamla Mataji, would you like to share any point?
I read one, but but I think Shweta Mataji took my point. But I think I'll recall from today's class. So one thing that you told in the class was whatever the higher supreme energy decides as per the will, that is what will happen. You even explained the example of Sri Ramchandra, right? Where um, where when he was dropping the pebbles or stones in the water, it's due to his will that they were floating on the water, like floating, um, because there was no act of gravity. So what I wanted to say is, like, even in our life, right, or any scenario that should happen in this world, it happens because of the will of Lord. And yeah, that's what I can remember, Mataji.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Achintya Shakti and how by will of the Lord. Like if we understand the law and the Lord as a lawmaker, then it is easy for us to understand that he can lift a mountain, because a mountain he can make it weightless, and he can make the law of gravity stop working on the stone so that the stone can float. So yeah, but if you don't have this basic understanding that how he is completely powerful and unlimited, then we'll think that this is mythology, because I cannot do it, I don't see any human being do it, but God is doing it, so it must be wrong or it must be mythology. So that is how we are all trained from to think from school, from colleges and other things. But yeah, this is a way to know that how everything is not within the scope of science to explain. Of course, science has its scope, and we are greatly using an advanced life with so many things, gadgets and other things that has made our life easy. But still there is a part of the quest for the origin and the metaphysical nature of a being with all the social media, how previously 60s, 70s, they make calling card and $5. I remember my friend when she came here in 98, 97, she used to call me in India every day, half an hour, not every day, weekly once, half an hour, $5 calling card. So, but now, like, everything is in fingertips, FaceTime, and but still has it uh, strengthen the relationship throughout the world, or how we are able to bond with each other? Has that increased? Has the enmity decreased? Has friendship increased? Has love and has increased? No, we cannot say that. So that's the point, right? Just by standard of increasing the standard of material living, our real self, we cannot be satisfied without this knowledge. Okay. Yes, Mataji. Anybody else? Shyamla Mataji, would you like to say something?
Mataji, I actually joined late, so I couldn't catch up which article you all read today. But the 3-minute time that you gave us, I was in the intermittent part of the link that you sent, and this is what caught my attention there. Basically, he calls us like the muddas, the asses, that where we have no senses to ask us what are we working for, how much we need to work. Uh, like he giving an example, the ass gets loaded on his back for that little morsel of grass. Similarly, for us, for two toast and a cup of tea, like we are on to the race of multiplying millions and millions. So, like that part I read, comparing us to that Carmi as part, So I don't think it was today's topic, but this is what it is.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, Kanika Mataji.
Mataji, I remember like this long time back, I was volunteering for this one discourse, like was taking place in the temple, and I was just helping set up and all. And in that, it was actually meant for parents with children, or people aspiring to become parents, how to put, like, instill Krishna consciousness. So there, like, one Mataji had asked a question that it's so difficult, like the science that my child studies, it's so contrary to like Bhagavatam and everything. So at that time, the person taking the discourse said, yeah, I mean, science teaches you that people come from apes, but how can a superior being come from an inferior being? And when she said that, that hit me like a bag of bricks, because I was like, how did I never think of that? We all keep believing evolution, but a superior being cannot come from an inferior being. And then someone else was saying that, how we are taught that the moon is like the reflection, it's the sun, it's the reflection of the sun or whatever, but its moon is a separate, it's like this, the other eye of the Lord, it's a separate planet. So it was just that this particular article reminds me of that experience.
Wonderful. Thank you. So that's the thing now. When we read, that's why I like these books, Science of Self-Realization, Perfect Question, Perfect Answers. It's whatever we have questions, that questions are asked, and he's answering that. Sometimes, we may not agree to what he answers, or sometimes it goes beyond our head, but still I feel it is worth it to read this, because it is Bhagavad Gita concepts put in action. How to explain, how he's explaining to others, we can see, and our own doubts will be clarified, our faith will be strengthened, and we also learn how to give it to people. When people ask questions, then we should be able to answer, right? So that's something. Okay, now we will pause the live, and then